Hi guys! What's happening? So today, on this beautiful Friday, we're out here checking this guy out. This is a Parabellum.com DRZ specific windscreen, windshield, whatever you want to call it. This is the first time on the bike after installing it. I'll show some pictures of the install process. Super simple. A couple of screws, well I shouldn't say screws, a couple of nuts and bolts. And I wanted to kind of get an idea of what it felt like, you know, out and about. Here's the problem. It's windy today, and you can probably hear a little bit of it on the microphone. So I don't know if it's going to be kind of a fair shake on the actual screen itself. Regardless, we're going to stop and get some fuel, because I've got about 65 miles on this tank, and that's about the time I like to go ahead and fill up, just because I never know with this thing. So we're going to go get some gas in a half hour after all these cars come through, and then we'll putt around a little bit and check out this screen. What do you say? So I will check in with you guys shortly. Alrighty then. So we are all fueled up. So let's talk about this screen. So I have never really been a windscreen guy. I've had 3 Harleys. One of them a Road Glide Custom. That's the, for you guys that aren't Harley people, that is the Harley that has the fixed, they call it the shark fairing. So like the Street Glide is the one where the headlight turns with the handlebars. The Road Glide Custom has the dual headlights side by side and the fairing is fixed. So that comes with a windscreen, but I went as far when I owned mine to put a shorter than factory on. So I think the factory one on those bikes is like 4 inches. I put a 2-inch on. So anyway, moral of the story is between 3 Harleys, all of which with really no windscreens, a couple of street bikes, and now my second supermoto bike, I've never been a windscreen guy, but I'm trying to kind of make this DRZ into more of a adventure bike than a dirt bike, if that makes sense. So like, I'm putting in some of the kind of creature comforts that, let's say, like a Africa Twin or a BMW, you know, GS series bike would have. You know, so things like a charging port, things like the windscreen. I've got a rack on the back. I'm thinking about doing, you know, like bag mounts for soft bags. So things like that. In the meantime, while I work my way up to financially getting a real adventure bike, if I decide to make that leap. So that's where the windscreen comes in on the DRZ. So I had done a lot of looking around. I had even considered making one myself, you know, out of some acrylic or plexi. And the tough thing about the DRZ, and now looking at this design, it kind of makes sense to me seeing it in person. The DRZ has this very compound shape of the small like headlight housing. So it's V'd, you know, this way, and it's arched down. So like, without having some kind of apparatus, and what I mean is like a jig or making a jig to make a windshield or a windscreen, it would be really difficult to do by hand. I mean, you would probably mess more up than it would be worth doing, you know, unless you like made the, you know, like your initial attempts out of like ABS plastic or something less expensive. So that was option one, was considering doing that. But then I stumbled upon Parabellum.com, which makes tons of different windscreens. I mean, they make them for DRZs and Suzuki 650s and everything else, all the way up into like BMW GS series. So they've got everything pretty covered. And I think this guy was like 90 bucks plus shipping. They have a clear and a tinted version. I wanted to go with the tinted version. And as I kind of stated in the initial opening scene, it's basically 4 nuts and bolts that hold this thing on. I'm going to change that, I think, because I want this to be a little quicker to remove. So I think I'm going to do nut certs into my fairing or into the headlight housing, then just take a bolt. I use those in my car audio fab stuff. So I think that's the idea I'm going to shoot for, as opposed to they come with like stainless hardware, which is really nice, and nylock nuts. I don't want to have to deal with that, because let's say that, you know, I want to just take it off really quickly. It takes it from like a 30-second job to like a 5-minute job, having to get out a wrench and everything else. So as of right now, like, it's like I said, it's kind of tough to say. I don't know if you can see the trees. It's not super windy. I bet if I looked on the phone, it's probably like 8 to 10 mile per hour, maybe with 15 mile per hour gusts. But on my face, it's really windy and it's really loud. And I'm assuming that's the buffering from the windscreen. I don't know. And I'll have to do a follow-up on this, like on a day where it's completely windless, you know, like a stagnant day. But as of right now, it seems like I'm getting a lot of air on my head and not any on my chest. So I don't know, you know, I've read that about windscreens on these kind of bikes, and I don't know that I see that as an advantage. I don't have any issue with wind on my chest, because I am like all the gear all the time for the most part guy. So I've always got a jacket on, and typically I've got a couple of layers underneath that this time of year. I had thought, like, if I sit back, it seems a little better, but like my normal kind of riding position, I can't really tell much of a difference. Like I said, it seems like there's a lot of wind, but like right now the wind is not coming from directly in front of me. It's kind of coming off from my left. So probably no fault of the windscreens. So let's get up to a little bit of speed here. So that's 73 on the gauge, which is probably like 65, and it actually feels really good. I was kind of concerned about like what at speed negatives the windshield would have, but it actually seems pretty good. So I would put that down as a check mark for stability and high speed comfort. At low speed, it doesn't feel any different to me. The bike feels exactly the same. But at higher speed, it feels like a nicer place to be. We're gonna hit I-80 up here, and we'll do like a mile on I-80, and really take this thing, you know, kind of all the way up. Not, I wouldn't say top speed, but I'll hit 80 or 85, and see what this feels like in a real highway, you know, scenario. Alright, so let's see how this thing acts. Alright, so we are 5th gear, almost at red line, which is probably about 80. And stability feels really good. Speedometer says 88. I would say we're probably doing about 80. A little bit of movement out of the screen, not too bad. A little bit of shimmy in the front end, but this thing has kind of always notoriously done that. No wind hardly on my chest at all. I can still feel it on my helmet, but I'm going to chalk that up to have the variant helmet with the visor, because the visor on these things grabs the wind like nobody's business. But stability and smoothness on the highway feel really good. So there you have it, guys. There is the Parabellum.com DRZ400 specific visor review. take a look at them. I think money for product, they're about the best price you can get on a windscreen. There were some other ones, man, I was checking out online that were $200+ and I'm like, gosh, I mean, for me it's almost form over function. Like, I'm trying to give off the illusion of this bike being more of an adventure bike than it is. But, you know, if at the same time, if the function of it is great and it works awesome, then I'm good with that too. But I was willing to take the gamble on form, you know. And I like the way it looks. I think it's slick. I'm still torn. Like, I could have went either way on the tint or the clear. But at the end of the day, with the headlight housing on the bike being black, I wanted to go with something tinted to kind of go with that same theme. If I had a white, you know, white fairing or whatever you want to call it, I probably would have went with clear. So yeah, I'll leave links in the description to the screen where you can pick it up. Check out Parabellum. Like I said, this is not a paid advertisement or a paid review or anything. This is just something for me to do so you guys can check it out. So there you have it, Parabellum.com windscreen for the DRZ400. Hope you guys enjoyed. Throw me a like, leave a comment in the section below if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer them. But definitely 2 thumbs up for Parabellum. Like the product, quick shipping, and very nice product. So there you go, guys. Take it easy.